Hey, welcome to HoopSpeak Live with Zach Harper, who does not want to do the show, and Ethan Sherwood-Strauss, who is coming to us for some new, very spacious and elegant digs. How are you guys doing today?
Bleacher Report money is paid.
Pretty well. Oh, yeah.
It's got that Bleacher coin.
Bad, man.
We got quite the show today. Everyone's in a good mood, probably because our own Dan Devine, our buddy Dan Devine, is going to be here, as well as Sports Illustrated's Lee Jenkins, a fantastic feature writer, and the big dog, Andrew McNeil of 48 Minutes of Hell, the tallest member of the True Hoop Network. And that is what we're going to be doing. So let's hop right into Take the Bacon. You guys have something that is somewhat topical.
We're debating whether or not the Celtics' victory against the Heat was luck. Now, I think that when you say luck, people get offended. They think that you're saying that the team didn't deserve to win. So Tom Haberstroh has given me a trick, which is instead call it euphemistically the recipient of the randomness and variation that happens within a basketball game. So putting it that way, I think it's more explicable to say that the Celtics had a crazy shooting night. They hit a ton of long twos that weren't necessarily great shots, and that's what helped them coast to victory. And therefore, I believe the Heat probably outplayed them in that game. Zach?
So they weren't lucky, but I'm supposed to argue that they weren't lucky? I don't really understand where you went with this. I mean, you've been saying for the last couple of days that they were lucky, and now you're saying it's a variation, which are two different things. The Celtics shooting was not lucky, and it wasn't that much of a variation. Obviously, they're not a 60% three-point shooting team, but this is the second time against the Celtics they've done this. The long twos, sure, that's something that's not particularly usual with them, but they also got a lot of great looks. They really moved the ball well. They moved without the ball well. They just destroyed the Heat, who were, I don't know if they were over-aggressive or if they were just lazy in the way they were aggressive, but they had a lot of sloppy closeouts. They had a lot of leaving the guy in the far corner open and not rotating over. I think it was just a dissection more than it was, chalking it up to the Heat were better, but the Celtics got lucky or they got variations, whatever you want to call it.
It's funny. I actually saw some sloppy closeouts from Wade on a few shots that the Celtics actually missed. So it's funny. I think that almost speaks to the luck that can happen within a basketball game. I think that we don't necessarily have to come away from this going the Heat are a great matchup for the Celtics or vice versa. I think we can come away from it going the Heat straight up lost to the Celtics and got killed pretty badly in the game before this one. I'm really trying to concentrate as that little monster raises its head. And I just think that when the Heat get twice as many field goals in the paint like they did, and when Boston wasn't shooting even that many threes, even though they made 9 of 14, that's not necessarily the recipe for success against the Heat. And if they follow that blueprint throughout a series, they will lose. That's not to say they, will, but it's just saying that that was probably not the right way to do things in the game that they won.
I don't know that it's necessarily telling that that the Celtics can beat the Heat in this series. I don't think they can. But as far as the blueprint goes, I think that's absolutely what you need to do. You need to hit them with outside shooting because they don't close out on it well. They don't rotate well. And you have to out-rebound them on the boards, specifically on your own offensive boards, because they give up those pretty easily. It doesn't mean that the Heat can't adjust to it. It's very simple adjustments that we saw them use against Chicago last year, who weren't a great three-point shooting team, especially not what they are this year, but it was kind of the same blueprint. Hammer them on the boards and come away with a victory. It worked in game one. It didn't work the rest of the series. I don't think that Boston necessarily showed that the game plan doesn't work or it's not valid. That's the game plan against Miami.
Well, I think that when I look at this, it's less about the offensive game plan to me, even though I'm citing that, but more about the defense. I don't think that the Celtic defense played particularly well, giving up all those shots in the paint to the Heat. And I worry about the blueprint that you're endorsing for Boston as one that will assure victory, because last year in the playoffs when Boston went down 2-0, I believe that they actually shot really well from the three-point line and shot over 40% in both those games when the series was effectively ended. But the problem was that they weren't generating offense otherwise, and they weren't getting anything besides those long two looks that they got in that last game. So I think that if Boston doesn't play sterling defense, and they didn't last time, and if Boston shoots a bunch of long twos like they did in this game, it's just not great for them going forward. While acknowledging that they might do something completely different, and in this whole locked out regular season, who knows what anything means.
Well, I can tell you what this debate means. I was very disappointed by Ethan's rhetorical strategy there. Not a strong take. I need a strong take. Zach has a dog. Zach has a dog on camera, therefore he wins. Yay, Zach! Whoa. You have bacon. I think honestly though, the Celtics got a lot out of transition in the first half, especially, and that's something that the Heat in the future, especially in the playoffs, will lock down. I mean, this isn't really a comment on the debate so much as that Wade dogs it in the regular season. Like, he just jogs through a lot of the motions. He gets completely let off the hook for it, and then he'll come in the playoffs and he'll lock people down and he'll make all the great defensive plays you need him to make. But he very much coasts back on defense, and the Celtics, especially when Rondo is in the open court pushing and finding people, that's a hot button topic for Ethan. It's going to be...
There was one play.
He played well.
There was one play where Celtics were in transition, had a 3-on-2. Wade stops. He's one of the guys back. He not just didn't get back on defense, he was back on defense, and he just stopped to complain to the ref, and Pierce threw a horrible pass that somehow it remained Boston ball. But I was astounded that you're back on defense and you just walk away and just start complaining to the ref. Like, that is dogging it.
He needs the Olympic licensing money to, try harder in the regular season.
Oh, God, can we talk about that garbage?
Slight. I'm actually on... No, we will later. We will later. It's the opposite of a call back. It's a call forward.